everyone, my name is Guylaine and welcome to my channel. I'm a self-taught jewelry and glass artist. This year my focus has really been on fused glass art. I've learned so much watching YouTube videos and reading books, and I'm really loving the versatility of glass. So it's kiln-fired glass. And there's so much you can do with glass. You can do like super complicated pieces like this one that takes about a bazillion years. Slight exaggeration, but this piece took like about 5 firings in the kiln for the elements and the slumping and everything. And then you could do pieces like this one, which still not super easy to make because there's a lot of cutting involved, but it's, you know, straight lines and it's not that complicated, but it still takes time. Or you can make something like this, which uses the natural shape of the glass to create that water versus sand feeling. Well, today I want to do something very, very simple, but the beauty comes in the simplicity of this piece. I'm going to use the natural reaction of certain glass. These are reactive glass. And when fused together, they create beautiful reactions. They're chemical reactions, and I'll explain why they react that way as I'm going through the process. I was going to show you the final piece in my intro, but the reaction is so cool that I actually would like to wait until after you've seen how it started to see how it's done in the end. So please enjoy. This piece is made with some reactive glass. So these are the pieces of glass that we're going to use. 130 from Bullseye is robin's egg blue. It contains copper and will react with glass that contains selenium or sulfur. What I mean by react is that there'll be either a change in color or some highlights that show up at the edges of a piece if it's touching another reactive piece or another piece that contains the reactive agents. The second piece of glass that I'll be using is this one. It's 297130. It's Bullseye's petrified wood. It's a streaky, and it is a type of glass that's called a striker. So this means that when it's subjected to heat, the glass will change color. So it doesn't need to be touching another piece of glass for it to react. It'll react on its own just when it's subjected to heat. But this one is also reactive, and it will react with glass that contains copper, sulfur, or silver, since it contains lead and silver. And since the robin's egg blue contains copper, we'll have a nice reaction between these two. So you'll see this is a bit of a strange color combination, but it's the chemical reaction of these two together which makes this piece interesting. So my trusty kiln is not very large, it's on the smaller side. So I'm restricted in the size of pieces I make because of the size of my kiln. And so my kiln shelves are about 7 by 7 inches. So that's the biggest that I can make the piece. In order to figure out the size of the piece that I'll be making, I want to figure out what the end result will look like. So what mold am I going to use? So in this case, I'll be using this mold, and it measures about 5 inches square. So my piece will have to be a maximum of 5 inches square to fit in the mold, because if it overhangs and we're going to slump, we're going to shape our piece of glass in this. If it overhangs, then it might bend over the edge and make a lip, or just simply make it a flat lip. And it doesn't really always come out very nice when we do that. So these pieces of glass should be 10 by 10, but then we have the rolled edge. This is release agent from my mold. The rolled edge to think about. So you see the 10-inch goes all the way to the rolled edge. So I wanted to try to get 4 pieces out of this. So if we go to 9 inches, and we'll get pretty decent pieces. This way should be 10. Same for this. What's the shortest? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll cut a piece out of each one that's 4.5 by 4.5. And I'm going to use this corner because of the different colors and the different colors in here. I'm curious to see how it'll come out. So I'm going to use my handy dandy cutting tool and cut out 2 pieces that are 4.5 inches square. And I want this quadrant here. These are called running pliers. They're specifically used to help with cutting glass. So now we have these 2 pieces that are going to sit on top of each other, and the glass will react and hopefully give us a nice colorful reaction. So we're going to move this and put it on our kiln shelf. But before I do that, I always like to clean my glass to get rid of any dust or any specks and oil from my hands. This is papyrus kiln shelf paper, so it's designed for the kiln, and it will prevent my glass from sticking to my kiln shelf. Okay. When I'm doing more complex pieces, I'll use some tack glue to glue the pieces together, but it won't be necessary here. It goes in the kiln, and it'll be about 12 hours before we could see it again. So after pulling it out of the kiln after a full fuse, this is how it came out. Look at these colors. Aren't they amazing? If you remember, the colors before were like a yellowish mustard color. And the reaction of the striker and of this copper, see it's the blue on the bottom? So once I slump it, I'll shape it. The inside of the bowl will be this color, and then the outside of the bowl will be that color. I'm so, so pleased. I love it. There's just these slight variations everywhere. I'm trying to get a good shot. It's pretty amazing how it went from that yellow color to this bright, bright red. So now we're gonna put it into this mold and slump it into a bowl. I've cleaned it up again after I took it out of the kiln. So here it is, the final piece. It's been slumped. It's got this really nice shape, and you see the background is blue, and then we have this beautiful reaction in the foreground, and we have a little bit of a framed edge here with the robin's egg blue. I really, really like this. If you guys like it enough, it's going to be in my shop, and if there's enough interest, then I'm hoping to make more of these pieces. So please let me know. The link to my shop is in the description box below. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this project. Please, I'd love to hear your feedback. Leave a comment below, what you liked, what you didn't like, but be nice about it. And subscribe to my channel. I would love to make more of these videos. Let me know what you'd like to see, other projects you'd like to see me make. Also, my Instagram and my shop links are in the description below, so please go have a look at my shop. I have all my glassware and all the jewelry that I've made, and I hope to see you here again soon. Bye!